Hi, my name is Janae. I wanted to share a story from my own family history that has given me a lot of courage and strength when I've needed it. This is a story about my great great grandmother, Mary Ann Darrow Richardson. Years ago, she was living in Utah and had been doing the laundry out on the line, and the laundry had been set out to dry. A storm was coming, so she was rushing to get all the clothes back inside before they got wet again. As she had the bundle of clothes in her arms, she ran back into the house, and a flat iron got bumped and fell right onto her toe, which completely cut it and gave her a terrible injury. She patched it up as best as she could, but over the next week the pain was very intense, so she went to the doctor. Once she was at the doctor, she had developed a sort of infection, and the doctor told her that it would need to be amputated. When she asked what it cost, he told her it was $100, which was an incredible sum for her and for many people at that time. She tried to see if she could get it down a little bit or work out some sort of arrangement. He told her that when the pain was bad enough, she would be willing to pay that $100 to have him do the amputation. She was so angered by his reaction to her. She hobbled home and decided to do that amputation by herself. When I read this story, I was struck at the courage and tenacity that she had, and it stuck with me. So I didn't know how much of an impact it had on me until a couple of weeks later, had the following experience. I was at home by myself while my husband was out of town. As I walked past the door of our patio, I happened to glance out the window and I saw one of my dogs pawing at something. And in fact, we had two dogs at that time. This was before we had any kids, so these were our children essentially. So I went outside to see what it was that they were pawing at, and it looked to me like it was a snake. Because the snake wasn't moving and they were able to paw it, I assumed it was a dead snake, but I thought I should probably double check. So I went into the garage and grabbed a shovel so I could poke it, and I went back out to the backyard. As I poked the snake, it did move and it was a live snake. I was very worried because my dogs had to go outside. I was home by myself and there was no way I could keep my dogs from having to go outside. So it seemed to me that the only option I had for their safety was to kill this snake. Having never done this before, I was very fearful. But the story of my great great grandmother came to my mind, and granted, what I was doing was not nearly as scary as what she had to do. But I thought if she could do that, then I can do this one little task and kill this snake. So I took my dogs back inside. I went back outside by myself with this shovel. I raised it high over my head and went ahead and killed that snake. I had never done anything like that before, and it scared me a great deal. But I was proud of myself and for what I had been able to do, and I felt like I had saved my dogs. As time went on, I found that that experience and that story of my great great grandmother actually gave me strength to do other things that were very difficult. As I mentioned at the time of that snake killing event, we did not have any kids, but it was a big desire for my husband and I to have a family. Unfortunately, we needed the help of many doctors for that to happen. Going through that difficult process of IVF and all the emotional ups and downs that come with it, the physical toll that it took on my body, it was very scary. But I thought every time that I was going into something that scared me or that seemed too much to bear, I thought of my great great grandma. As I read and researched more about her, it wasn't just that one story that painted the picture of her strength and courage. I found that she, many times through her life and their journey to the West on the Oregon Trail, showed me that she, throughout her life, exhibited courage in ways that gave me the strength that I needed to get through those difficult times. Now been many, many years past the time that I read the story initially about my great great grandmother and killed the snake and gone through IVF. I now have a family with 3 kids, but the hard times have not stopped coming. There have been other difficulties that have arisen in our lives, and that's true for anyone. But I keep my great great grandmother's story and spirit alive when I think about her and I draw courage from her example. I think that's the true power of learning your family history. It can give you direction and the way that you need to go, or it can give you courage or just a sense of purpose. Um, I feel very fortunate to have such an extensive documentation of my own family's history. And I hope you enjoyed this story and have a great day.